It's manipulation, love. Hi. I'm here to figure out why there's a certain someone that you're allowing back into your life over and over and over again when you know they're not good for you. So, here we go. In this video, I'm going to explain 4 main types of attachment styles and explain what that can mean for you in a relationship, or in general, really, what it means for you, essentially. So, the 4 main attachment types are secure, anxious, avoidant fearful, and avoidant dismissive. Now, what this means is in our childhood, there have been experiences, the ways our parents treat us, all that jazz, and they have shaped you to who you are now, and the way you interact with people, and the way you communicate how you feel to certain people. So, let's get it started. So, a secure attachment style is one where you're confident in the person that you are. One where you can communicate what you want in relationships, pretty much anything. You're very in touch with your emotions, and you know how to express them well, essentially. For those of you who are, okay, the lighting has significantly darkened, wow, crazy. For those of you who are feeling like you're the healer of the friendship group or your relationship, then I need you to know that that's okay. You are appreciated. For starters, if you're not, check out, say goodbye. Basically, if you're left feeling like you can't go to them when they know that they can go to you, reevaluate it. If at times you're left feeling like a sense of longing or like wanting to get what you put out into the world, then that's okay. Natural. However, at times you do catch yourself going back to them, the people who drain your energy, the people who don't maintain the vibe, because you love them, and there is the connection there, and there might always be one, but right now we need to focus on your boundaries. Listen, I'm not telling you to cut them off completely, because that's shitty advice, because I'm not you living your life. I'm living my life. And I'm not going to live it for you, ever. So all I want you to do is take a step back, reevaluate the situation you're in, and think, first of all, if you're thinking about them during this whole video, then that's that on that. But, you just gotta communicate. The biggest thing in this whole video that I could say is communicate, because the worst that can happen is you cut off someone that isn't good for you. Because if you're telling someone how you feel, like, hey, listen, okay, we're using props now, hey, listen, I'm not feeling too good, and they're like, well, listen, communicate. Let them know how you're feeling, and whatever their response is will determine exactly how you should react. Because I'm not going to tell you to leave, because that's on your own prerogative, and you can't sue me. Anyway, so, you communicate, and the worst thing that could possibly happen, you lose someone who wasn't willing to help you. You lose someone who wasn't willing to work it out with you. Realistically. Because, that you say, listen, I'm feeling like this because of this. And they're like, oh, okay. And then you're like, you know what to do at that point. Surely you don't need me to spell it out for you. Anyway. And if there's an apology with no change, it's manipulation, love. There is no saving that. You need to run. If they apologise and be like, oh my god, I'm so sorry, I can't. Who the fuck do I think I am? Leave. Sorry, I keep applying lip gloss because, well, I fucking love it. So now the second type of attachment style is anxious. This attachment style kind of presents itself as a constant battle with your mind and emotions. So what you know to be true and what you think to be true. Now I want to preface this by saying, if any of what I say now, then, or later, resonates with you and you feel like you need to contact someone, I'm always going to reply to those who feel like they need to reach out to me. because that's what I'm here for. I'm here to help you, and honestly, I love it. I love helping people because I guess my attachment style. So for those with like a anxious attachment style, it can feel very hard to express truly how you feel to other people, especially the ones closest to you. This could be for a number of reasons. Now, obviously it's different for everyone, and you've all had your experiences, and we all have, and that's what makes us human. Some might be like a lack of emotional support throughout childhood, or in a relationship in which where you might have tried to like express how you feel to them, but they weren't listening, they weren't willing to care, or you didn't feel like you got what you wanted or like needed in that moment. Now, every feeling that you're feeling is valid. Every feeling. I don't care if it's valid, okay, however you're feeling, because that is the human experience, and it's normal. We are human, and every single situation puts us to where we will be in the future. So when we come into someone's life, we don't know their history. We only know what they tell us. Shout out to my best friend's boyfriend for letting me know that I am an attention whore. Really nailed that in the head there. Wouldn't have guessed. Truly. Would not have guessed. I thrive off of attention because I'm an attention whore, and that's due to daddy issues and mummy issues and all sorts of traumas. We can get into it if you want. I'll let you know, but but yeah. So sometimes I felt like I had an anxious attachment style, but at this point I don't know. You can never listen. There are 4 main types, but you fall in and out of each category. You make a whole new one if you really need to. Do you know what I mean? It's all up in the air, apparently. At the end of this, you are in control of everything around you, so do what you want. An anxiety attachment style will often present itself as acting out. That sometimes you're creating a toxic environment around you, where this can be both done intentionally and unintentionally, like subconsciously, because it's learnt behaviours and coping mechanisms, essentially, like defence mechanisms. So say you're trying to make the other person jealous, and to get a certain type of reaction out of them, where, because if you don't tell them how you feel, you're going to do something to get them to give a reaction, and then you meet in the middle like that, I guess. So other things like are creating a toxic environment for yourself, such as constantly checking their social media, seeing what they're up to, why they're not texting you back, and being constantly in your mind about why all the time. And I understand completely. Listen, like, we've all been there. We all have, and that's okay, because anxieties in relationships are normal. Anxieties in friendships are normal. Anxiety in general, normal. It is your brain. It's literally fight or flight, meeting at the middle and causing haywire. But literally, it's okay. You're fine. Everything you feel that stems from anxiety is valid, because it's always a human emotion. I'm just putting that out there. And if anyone tells you differently, quite frankly, they can fuck off. But for real, like, everything obviously is neurochemical. You got your chemical parts, you got your environmental parts, you got, just the way your mind works in general is so complicated that I definitely couldn't begin to explain it, but I just know that I understand it. So however you're feeling, it's okay. If you've got someone telling you that you're overreacting, P.S. I always do. I do overreact quite a bit. If someone makes you feel like what you're feeling isn't real, leave, go, run, get away. The worst thing you can do is like get in your head and like constantly think about what they're doing, because they're going to do whatever they want to anyway, whether you check up on them or not. So what getting into your head does, like neurologically, you get a dopamine rush because you're expecting a new message, you're expecting something different, and in your mind that's like, oh, we're going to get something, and then there's a sudden drop, because you've probably seen something you don't want to see, you've probably like hurt yourself in the process, and it gets addicting. It gets, okay, we're going to check up, is it going to be different, is it going to be the same? We don't know. And that is why it is so harming to you, because you're maintaining a level of addiction in your head to this one person where you've got like negative emotions towards anyway, because you're on this video asking, why can't I move on? Why am I still stuck with a person who doesn't want me? I rest my case. Rest my case. However, if you're feeling a certain type of way towards a certain type of behaviour that a certain someone's doing, then stay tuned, because that's the moment where Liv figures out red flags in relationships and gaslighting and all that jazz. So, if you want another video, if you want to see that, drop it a little thing down below. Like, comment, subscribe, do whatever you need to. This is a whole ass plug for myself, because I'm an attention whore, and we know this. Why are we questioning? So, the dismissive avoidant is one where it's complicated, because it does stem a lot from childhood, and I can't really go into your childhood and tell you what the hell's going on. But if you saw a disconnect between your parents, or the way their parents spoke to you, treated you, whatever, it's not my business, that can lead to not wanting a romantic or like friendship or a relationship, because sometimes our emotions get the best of us and we can't really express it how we want to, and then when we feel as though no one's going to listen because of your like the way your parents have listened to you, or whoever, past relationships, whoever have made you feel shitty. The whole idea is that you saw things like red flags, you saw a lot of trauma between your parents going through that, like growing up, and you automatically think, if this is what I can see now as a child, or as a however old you are, but like if you saw that as a child growing up, then you're not going to fully understand a good relationship, and like a healthy one. That's not healthy. So there is always going to be a disconnect between how important you think a relationship is. So in your mind, you're self-sufficient, you're great, you're fine, you're thriving in your mind, and you're okay. But the difference between the dismissive and the secure people is how much you lie to yourself, basically. The secure people know that they're okay with themselves. The dismissive think that they're okay with themselves, because, you know, they're like, okay, yeah, I can be alone, because what is being in a relationship good for, you know? It's only going to end in heartbreak. Which, if you're wanting tips on how to, like, thrive or whatever in a relationship, let me know. I can do that for you. I can let you know. Just let me know in the comments. I'll literally provide whatever you want to see. You're getting it. So yeah, anyway. So the dismissive, it's very, when you're by yourself, you can feel very lonely, and you can feel so alone. Like, you can think, why don't I want this? Why is it so bad? Why? You're asking yourself a lot of why, and that's okay. Again, everything is valid. Nothing's unusual. Typically, the people who experience a dismissive, avoidant attachment style are men, males, boys, them. Sorry. Because you don't talk about your emotions enough. And I think once we open the idea that anyone can talk about their emotions, anyone, you know, the argument towards feminism is, you know, but male issues exist. We are not denying that. And no woman has ever said, no, they don't. Well, maybe they have, but they couldn't, so you don't associate them with them. Anyway, we don't expect men to understand how women feel, so men shouldn't expect to know how women to know how men feel. Makes sense, doesn't it? But, you know, the only reason it's not being talked about is because the male community the men aren't talking about it. Being self-reliant is fine. Being independent is fine. Naturally, we want that. You know, we don't want to have to rely on someone. But you might have a tendency to, like, ignore certain relationship cues that from a person that might like you and genuinely want to be there for you, but you're ignoring that because you don't, the disconnect is there. So when at times you can catch yourself longing for a physical side of it, not an emotional, a physical side, and that can be translated like, oh, I want love or what something, but it's actually lust. I want to be there with someone, like be in that moment with someone, not just having to like deal with their emotions too. That's okay, that's fine, of course it is, you're feeling like that and that's okay. But what's not okay is using someone in order to get that visit. Unless you have both boundaries are met and agreed, using someone for a physical relationship or something you want is not okay. If that person thinks they're trying to get through to you, and you're being physical, you're doing what you have to do, and you're all just there like, yeah, I feel nothing towards this person, you have to let them know. And like I said, communication, key. Everything. Key is the communication. Because the worst thing that's happened, you cut them off. They're not right for you, or they cut you off because you're not right for them, and that's okay. Being not right for someone is fine. I think it comes up especially when times get tough for you. So when you're wanting to vent to someone about how something's made you feel, you don't know who to tell, because you never feel like there's a right person to tell, or they won't care as much as you want them to, or all of that jazz. And like I said, if you want a part 2, which is going to be coming anyway, so take it or leave it, but it's going to explain how to heal from certain types of emotions. Because I'm here to explain, I'm here to heal, I'm here to bring you what you want to see. All for a low price of nothing. As long as you and that person have mutually agreed to some sort of friends with benefits moment, then don't play them. Don't do them like that. Because they wouldn't have done you like that, because they want to care about you. They're wanting to have they want something with you, and sometimes I think you just got to let that go. You just got to let the fear of, this isn't the right person, this isn't the right time, just let it go. See what happens. Thrive. The last attachment style is avoidant fearful, and it is basically everything from the anxious attachment style, but with an added dependency, and the thing you're scared of is them leaving. So you're scared of you're gonna do toxic things in order to make them stay, if that makes sense. You're gonna behave in sometimes erratic ways because you can't express the emotion that you want to, so you kind of try a different approach and get their reaction. It's all about reactions and the way energy flows, I guess. It's a whole little shebang that I can easily explain in a shorter video if you need me to. That, I'll see you in the next one, which is going to be the part 2. Bye! Didn't peel, but it's okay.